Hey, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. We're going to shift gears a little bit here and downshift down to one of the lower tiers. You can see we've got a tier 5, 4, and 3 battle here. LpBronco in his Panzer 3J, German medium tier 4 tank. Not the fastest medium around, but kind of a really fast shooting gun. Not a terrible tank, but it is a tier 4, so that is going to be a little rough all around. So let's talk about some of the new guy stuff. All right, we'll call this one new guy stuff. Get this started here. We are on Karelia, and you can see that it is Karelia. We have spawned in the northeast. The other spawned down in the southwest. So the basic choices are come down here and fight in this corridor. Potentially, if you're fast, jump up on top through this. That's dangerous because you can get spotted and waxed. Or move up into these rocks up here. The other option is to do a little camping. Let's talk about that a little bit at tier 4 and down here. As a general rule, I don't like what LpBronco is doing because he's camping a little bit. However, we talking about new guy tactics, new guy stuff. This is not a terrible idea if you're new to the game, as long as you react to the rest of the game and do something other than sit on the cap. The reason I say this is down at the lower levels, up to about tier 5, but more prevalent a little bit lower, you're going to have a lot of people who just kind of YOLO in and drive at you. And you can whittle away the team pretty well doing that. They do have a bunch of tier 5 heavies, so had he gone down to the southeast, that would have been very difficult for him to fight down there, although he's carrying 52 gold. Good on you, LP. Spam some gold. That's another thing you can do as a new guy if you have the credits to do so. And you can see now he's shooting at guys coming in here. A little bit of gunnery issue, but he ends up getting a shot and a kill, so he's checking back over there. I've talked to Bronco a little bit about this on occasion, but he does need to zoom out more and look around. You can see that he's kind of got that tank commander view. He's sitting right on the top of his turret there. So if he would zoom out like this and move his camera around a little bit, he would have much better field of view and gather a little bit better SA. But you can see he's sort of staring down the barrel of his gun. But he is looking around, and I can't tell obviously how much he is checking his mini-map, but he should be doing that. So if you look down into the southeast, a few of their heavies, at least their Churchill anyway, has showed up down there, their M4. So there's still a lot of tanks on the board that haven't showed up. And LpBronco has some good company. There's quite a few people on the cap. So here comes all those guys I talked about earlier who's just going to sort of YOLO right in there. The T46, let's see, what is the T46 over there? Is he a new guy? Yep, brand new guy. Just drove over there and got whacked. So that's what I'm talking about. You will be able to pick off a few of those guys while you are quote-unquote camping. Here comes another one, another customer coming in. Now if that doesn't happen, you sit there for a little while, your team's losing, or you see an opportunity to move, or they're just not pushing into you, then there's no reason to sit there for too long. You'll see that LP will get moving here pretty soon. Teams are fairly equal. The Type 91, if you count noses, there's 4 down there, there's a Type 91 there, and there's an Arty. So that's 4, 5, 6 of the tanks. That's 6 of the 11 that are left. So there are still 5 tanks hiding out, and a considerable number of them are TDs, which are probably camping near their cap and not too far forward. You also notice that the Panzer S35 has moved up to that spot there, which is on the edge of the swamp, kind of tucked up in there, and he's not seeing anything out here, although it doesn't have great view range. And he's just sort of waiting here. LP's looking around. And so LP, I'd have been moving by now. That Type was beat up. You probably could have zipped down there and taken him out a long time ago. Your team is doing okay down in the southeast, but it's not exactly rolling them up. So probably something needs to be done. And you can see your Stug is moving, so you follow him up. And I'd have been moving much sooner than that. So yeah, camping can be a decent tactic for new guys to at least start to get a hold of the game. The S35 just died, so their Stug 3 is over there. That's interesting. Alright, so hey, one of their TDs actually moved up. Somehow got past you. We're going to end up killing him, but we do take some hits doing it. Stay around behind him. Oh, don't back up like that. Yeah, if you'd have kept going forward and kept yourself sideways to him, it would have been much more difficult for him to get turned on you there. So you live. Please, LEF, don't kill me. And you're going to head back. Now let's take a look at what we got going on there, though, for new guys. This is where you start to count noses, all right? Looking at the map, I can see there's at least 4 down in the southeast. There's a Stug there. That's 5 of the tanks that are left. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means there's only one unaccounted for plus the arty. So he might be up in here. He may actually be embedded down there. It's hard to tell how many are there, whether there's 4 or 5. There's certainly 4, but probably only 1 there at the most. So that may have been really the best way to go for you on this one, LP. But let's see what happens. This is the decision he made. I will say this about it, and for the new guys, he is going back to his strength. His team is all hanging out back here, so he has fallen back to where his team is. So as far as that goes for a decision, it wasn't a bad decision. What I'm talking about moving across the north is being a little more aggressive. And as a new guy, once you start to learn how to live a little longer, you've got to switch back or switch forward from there, switch gears from there, and start learning how to be a little more aggressive, because that's where you will start carrying games, as opposed to farming enough damage to get decent stats and be okay at the game, but not really take that next step. Decision time here for him as he comes in is to either come down through here or go this way. Again, counting noses, there's 3 there, 4, 5. There's still a guy unaccounted for, and the arty. So even if it's just 1 here, he should be able to handle that dude, especially if you look at what it probably is, being the cruiser 4. He should be able to eat that guy for lunch if he finds him. Going down this corridor is probably not a great idea, right? These guys all shoot fast. He's a fairly lightly armored, not a lot of hit points. He's already taken a hit. He'd probably get chewed up. So I like this choice. And we are going to head this away. And this is an interesting thing for you new guys. I'll show you what he's doing. Oh, there he is. There's an A20. And we're going to shoot at him. We're in third person. Okay, and we're going to shoot at. Got a hit. That's good. And we're kind of chasing. And we're going to shoot and miss. And we're still chasing. Third person. All right, so at least 1 miss. I believe he has another one right here. Could have been a kill shot. Okay, so a couple misses. Trying to do it in third person. That's okay. Probably would have been a lot easier to auto aim that guy. All right, not as easy now that auto aim plus is gone, but highlight the guy like he's got him right now, right click to lock it on, and then just drive and shoot. And all you've got to watch for then is to make sure that your depression hasn't brought the gun up above him. So as long as he's highlighted and the gun's right at him, that'll work. At this distance and with the shell velocity that he has, and with not a lot of relative right to left movement, lateral movement as he's chasing him, probably not going to be a big deal about leading him at this range. So really just lock onto him and start wailing away. Probably would have had that A20 dead by now. Coming around, I think he actually misses one more time. Oh no, it got him that time. Good on him. And there you go. So for you new guys, that's a point where auto aim is excellent. That close, where you don't have a lot of lateral relative right to left movement, is a good place to do that. All right, so he's going to move up. I'll go forward here, and you'll see LpBronco come up to the top of this hill, and then we got another decision point coming on. And how is he going to help these guys deal with this Excelsior, Churchill, and M4 when he's only got a Churchill and another light sitting back? Now, unfortunately for LP and the rest of the team, this is still going on up here in the northeast. These guys haven't really come to grips with the fact that the fight is all down here, and nobody else is going to drive into them and let them get any more damage. Had these guys moved up and helped, this may have well been over by now. So coming up over this ridge can be dangerous because, as you can see, the Churchill now is lit. I think he's looking right at LP. We'll look at it in just a minute. So had he just come boiling over this and try to kill that Excelsior, that Churchill probably would have machine gunned him down. So he's going to come up here, take a shot, and back off. Gets lucky the guy misses. There goes the Excelsior. Takes another shot, and a little indecision. Probably most of you are cringing because there's an LEFH still around, and the longer he dithers right there back and forth, the more likely he is to get hit. For you new guys, this little piece of the map right here where he's going is very important. As we'll move in here, you can see that if he tucks up here to the right slightly, the guy that is down behind that rock, the Churchill 1, can't hit him. In addition, because of the rocks right here, the LEFH can't hit him as long as the LEFH is over here, which is where it probably is. Obviously, if he's down in here, has got into that area, then yes, he can hit him. But he'll know that pretty soon, won't he? So you can now start working on this Churchill. And I would be zoomed in here, LP, instead of kind of zinging back. Yeah, just because he's going to try to back out there. And you're going to make a decision here that I don't like at all. Gonna come in here. Oh, there he is. No, not gonna shoot him. Gonna back up. Okay, one other thing before we get to the decision. The whole time you've been sitting here, you've been kind of staring at where the Churchill is. Never once did you sort of look around. What I was curious about as we came up here, and you may have known it because you saw it earlier, but once I got in here and I saw you working this, my question then became, how many hit points does that Churchill one I have still own? And I'd have looked over at him and said, okay, here he comes. He's at 67%. This guy's at 44. Hey, this looks pretty good. Even though the M4's right there, we could probably get him out. He's 2%. So I'd have taken all that SA, and that's all SA. All right, 2%, 44%, 67%, and the 38's just sort of sitting back there. But you really didn't look at that. You weren't that curious about it. That guy's kind of staring at you. You know your Churchill's using that opportunity to move up. Okay, so pretty soon you guys are going to double team this guy. And dude, what are you doing? Where are you going? Yeah, that was a bad. I did not like that decision. You just left your Churchill. There goes the M4. That's good. The two of you could have tag teamed that last Churchill. The M4's gone. Holy cow. Just machine gunned him down. That would have been some hit points you had. So I think you left some shots and damage on the table right there. And we're going to come around. Now, there is an argument to be made as I see you. You're going to take on this Stug. And you drive right out. I'm assuming you're trying to get past him or something right there. I'd have got behind that rock and worked that a little more than just drive out in front of him. Look how bad your view range is now with your driver out. Why is that? Is that a driver and commander? That might be a driver and commander. I'll have to look at the crew. I'm not sure. In any event, you don't like your drivers much. You never fix them. That's why you're driving so slow. Fix your driver. All right, back to this whole thing. Churchill is still fighting this guy. You guys could have had him dead a long time ago. Now, you may have been thinking, well, maybe that Stug is over here. I don't want the LAF to get me, LAFH. But holy cow, you'd have been well done with that wounded Churchill and helping your Churchill had you stayed back there with him. Why are you so slow? Your driver's dead. You still have a med kit. Use it. Come on. All right, so the LAFH at least was seeing where the Churchill was. He just took him down. Get a Stug up top. And we're about to answer the question of whether the Cruiser 4. The world wants to know. Yeah, there he is. AFK. Little bot action for him. More than likely you're spotted, right? And, oh, yep, I'm spotted. Let's see, what's about this guy? And I'll shoot once and whack. Okay. And he said in his note when he sent me the replay that he wasn't too proud of sitting right there in front of that guy, but not bad. Getting some more hit points in there. He ended up with 1,085. Did some pretty good stuff. A lot of good lessons learned really for new players. Talked about the camping thing a little bit. Wrong side. He's up here. Talked about how it wasn't necessarily a really bad idea, but be a little more proactive about when it's not working anymore or when you've done what you can do. Get up here. I would have liked to have seen a push up in this area more than I would have liked to have you come back around. But once you did, based on all the things I talked about, it wasn't a terrible decision. Again, going back to your strength. Once you did get back around, good decision not to come down here. I liked this decision. Definitely were tearing these guys up, had an opportunity, and then you just left. I would have definitely stayed there with that Churchill, taken him down. And then you could actually come back up here and come around and look for the rest of the hit points. So probably really right there is about the worst decision you made for the entire game. And then coming through here, we talked about that with the Stug, and then we come up and we farm a little bit of the camping guy. But overall, pretty nice game. Couple things to think about. If you guys like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Otherwise, we will catch you later.